welcome back to all the participants. A warm welcome to the participants again, the dignitaries, and our panelists for today, Dr. Rima Ghosh Chowdhury, Dr. Ruby Bakshi Khurdi, Dr. Hina Shah, Dr. Rashik Gupta, Ms. Esther Asante, and Ms. Lara Khalif. Thank you for joining the panel discussion on women in leadership. My name is Mishma Stanislaus, the Chief Global Communication Officer here at CIMSME and GCPIT, and I take great pleasure in moderating today's panel discussion. Before we proceed, I would like to ask the other speakers to kindly mute your audio. Ms. Lara, Dr. Hina, please can you mute your audio? Thank you. So before we proceed, I would like to give a brief background on the topic to be discussed. Women are gradually making their leadership presence felt in entrepreneurship, in administration, education, engineering, health, etc., at regional, national, and global levels. Women are now resolved to break the traditional glass ceiling that barred them from entering leadership positions, even if they possess the requisite skills and the talents to occupy them. As per the research conducted by Catalyst, a research organization, globally the share of women in senior management is increasing. And in 2019, the proportion of women in senior management roles grew to 29%, the highest number ever recorded, and it remains the same in 2020. 87% of the global mid-market companies have at least one woman in a senior management role in 2020. But these numbers are drastically reducing as we move up the corporate ladder, where we predominantly have male executives. So, which is a matter of dire concern, and hence we would like to focus on it at the GWBS today. On the other hand, we have some exemplary women leaders who have managed to reach the top. And from that pool of leaders, we have chosen our panelists for this session today, who will address the various factors that influence women in leadership, share their journey of success and failure, while guiding us on the right mindset we should nurture if we are adamant to break those traditional glass ceiling. I would like to introduce our panelists. First, we have Dr. Hina Shah, the founder director of ICECD, which is the International Center for Entrepreneurship and Career Development, established in 1986. ICECD is a non-profit voluntary organization, and she's a pioneer in the field of SME development with a special focus on women. The center works extensively around the globe in this field, concretizing the efforts by keeping gender issues in sharp focus and striving to increase access and control of entrepreneurs on productive sources and facilities, also aiming at making women as equal contributors in the development process. Since its inception, ICECD has mentored and trained over 1 lakh women to become self-driven. With that, I would like to welcome Dr. Ina to open the session by giving our definition of women leadership. Over to you, Dr. Hina.
Dr. Hina, you're on
Dr.
mute.
Ina, please unmute yourself. Dr. Ina, please can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I have done that. It's great pleasure to see that women are talking about women's leadership. However, it is not a new thing, but it is definitely a new phenomena to see many women to come to leadership. I would, since I have to define the women's leadership, I would say that most of the women are mostly individual contributors because they always contribute in their families, in their professions, and things like that. If I go through detailed definition, culturally characteristic associated with leadership role have been added more to men than women, and every woman wants to become a leader like a man. There my concern is, I would say that worldwide people expect women to be the more communal, warm, supportive and kind, and men to be more agentic, assertive, dominant and authoritative. To my surprise, the gender stereotype has not yet disappeared from the world, and all women will agree to it. But in this condition also, large number of women leaders have evolved professionally, at economic field, at the political field, and I myself had the opportunity to develop large number of small and medium enterprises all over the globe and have developed more than entrepreneurial leader in the world. From my experience of leading these business women and many other powerful women, I would say that I would define the leadership saying that a woman as a leader, value work-life balance, they are empathetic, great listener, nurturing, teamwork player, multitasking, motivated by challenges, handle crisis situation very well, can check their ego and have high emotional intelligence, make their jobs look effortless, and they can defy odds. Now, this is the definition of women leader. And I would say this is much different than the male leader, which was something very much different as thought about it. I think women's potential and ability in leadership are undeniable, and you will agree with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ina. So, with that, I would like to introduce our next panelist, Ms. Esther Asante. So, please can you mute yourself? So, Ms. Esther Asante, she's an award-winning entrepreneur and the founder, owner, and CEO of two successful online businesses, which is Virtual Linguistic Solutions (VLS) and Organic Trade and Investment (OTI). Ms. Esther has worked with various multinational companies in Ghana and has championed managerial roles in radically different industries, starting from real estate to aviation industries. She masterminded the digitization of the operations management system of OTI, which currently integrates 12,000 farmers and 300 small-scale manufacturers across Africa. This powerhouse entrepreneur has been honored with a number of recognitions. In 2018, she received the Best Female E-commerce Entrepreneur Award, and in March 2020, she was the only Ghanaian to be conferred the African Global Trade and Investment in Excellence Award for the Trade and Investment Facilitation Excellence. It is a pleasure to have you with us today, Ms. Esther. So I would like to pose this question to you. Being the founder and the CEO of two online businesses, how would you define women leadership? Over to you, Ms. Esther.
Thank you very much, and good morning or good evening to everyone from Ghana.
Ms. Esther, can you turn on your video?
Unfortunately, where I am, I will not be able to. I also work with other people.
Okay, you can go ahead.
All right. So thank you for this opportunity. For me, where I come from the Akan tribe, and it is the biggest tribe in Ghana with the Ashanti region, and the name Asante means because of war. We are very rebellious, and every woman is a leader where I come from. Long before the arrival of the invaders or the slave traders, traditionally, women in West Africa were very powerful, and even today in Ghana, the installment and the stolment of a chief, which is the king, is made by the queen mother. Even though the chief is the leader of the community, the queen mother approves the selected person as capable of leading that community. So coming from a matriarchal society, I was raised to be proud of myself, to stand up for myself and for others, and also to lead by an example. I think the women leadership goes far beyond the preconceived ideas of the limit role of the woman in the corporate world and wanting to compete with the opposite sex. For instance, women leadership starts with ourselves, how the woman sees herself, the role she plays in her family, community, and the corporate world, the socio-economic impact she makes, how she relates to her peers, what she tolerates, and her contributing to the development of her community. Everything starts within herself. So women leadership can have a significant importance in our respective economies only when the society in which the child girl is raised and made to have self-esteem, to understand, respect, and accept the responsibilities of each member in that community. And that starts with ourselves from a younger age, how we raise our male child to see our girl child shapes society, because there will be a change of mentality. It's therefore important that we invest in changes that encourage and support the well-being of everyone, the recognition of one's identity, the right to live and to be and to decide for themselves and to be responsible for their actions. So I think we also have to invest in policies that support advancement of women within the industries they operate. So women with leadership also means that we as women, we do away with our own fears and insecurities or preconceived ideas toward one another, like we are doing today. And I commend you for this. And we should form solid partnerships and collaborate for each other's benefit. And above all, I think that we should just be proud for who we are as creators of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Esther, for putting that so well. Again, I request the other speakers to kindly mute yourself until your turn comes. Thank you. So with that, I would like to introduce our next panelist for today, Dr. Ruby Bakshi Kurdi. She is an award-winning innovative educationist, a TEDx speaker, emotional intelligence expert, and an acclaimed international keynote speaker. She is popularly known as the Kahoot Professor by her students. Her teaching style focuses on gamification and perceptual learning. She has done her PGDBA from Jaipuria Institute of Management, India, with major specialization in human resources management and minors in marketing management. And she also has a postgraduate certificate in higher education from the University of Derby, UK, and holds a doctorate in business administration. Dr. Ruby firmly believes education and communication are the strong pillars in developing a progressive nation. She's a very passionate person with a vision to educate people with life skills and connect emotionally towards building a creative society. And she's been working consistently since the last few years to make her vision a reality. So thank you for joining us today, Dr. Ruby. And with that, my first question for you is, what is your winning mantra to create women leaders around? Over to you, Dr. Ruby.
Thank you so much, Mishma, for such a wonderful introduction. I'm indeed honored to be in this panel of all women thought leaders who have made a mark for themselves. They are thoughtful, they are there, they are creating an impact, and that's why we are all sharing this platform of women leadership. I would like to quote the words of motivational speaker and author Abiola Abrams, which says, "Your mantra is your fight song." Yes, ladies, you create your own mantra. In the midst of all this negative noise and our chronic busyness, when we say busyness, it's like we create this shell around us that we are busy. We need to strike a good balance between our professional and personal life, which means we must adopt to innovative ways of thinking. We all have our careers, we all have our families, but at the end of the day, it's we who know how to manage and how to do a bit of multitasking so that we can manage it properly. That's where the mantra comes in to help us change or reinforce the positive beliefs through empowering, through creating those meaningful networks, through making women believe that yes, you can do it. I firmly believe that empowered women empower women. If you are good at something, share it with other women by being their role model. Create sisterhood networks to help and support each other. Find your own tribe. Yes, you have to find your own tribe to develop your community, because community makes you strong and it takes you a long way. I appeal to all the women leaders out here and to all the women leaders who are listening to us. Reinvent the awesome you. You are unique. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. We all have our flaws, we all have our wow moments. So try to make the best of it. And that's how the mantra is created, because each one of you is unique and you can develop yourself in a positive way once you are able to overcome those developing areas or those gray areas which are under construction, or let's say they are there. So you need to work on them to make it beautiful. And please connect with women, please connect with other women across the world to create these sisterhood networks so that we can support each other, we can share our things, we can create a strong network where we tell each other that you are there and we are there to support you. So go for it. And that's the mantra you will make yourself, because magic is in your hands. You need to create it to make it workable. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ruby, and I hope all the women out there have noted that mantra. So, with that, I would like to introduce our next panelist, Dr. Rashi Gupta, also fondly known as the Battery Wali of India. She is the pioneer of manufacturing advanced lithium batteries in India, along with the world's smartest lithium battery. She is the founder and managing director of Vision Mechatronics Private Limited, leading it towards a name to reckon for in the field of robotics, renewable energy, and energy storage. A woman entrepreneur who has been fearless and ferocious in creating a brand for herself and the company in these male dominated fields. If one takes a closer look at the alchemy of this achiever, two distinct virtues pop up besides perseverance and hard work, and these are pioneering spirit and willingness. Coupled with an impressive background, it was not therefore surprising that she became a prominent name in the renewable energy sector of India and is featured as the Asia's most influential women in renewable energy 2020. She's been working on gender equality and women empowerment issues globally as well. So it's great to have you with us today, Dr. Rashi. And with that, my question for you is, who inspired you to be on this career path, a path which is not normally tread by women? So over to you, Dr. Rashi.
Okay, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure, and I mean, all you such beautiful, lovely women out here, and it's amazing, inspiring to be here. Now, I will just continue with what Dr. Ruby said. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I say that on many forums, many places, so I completely resonate with what she said. I'll take it a little further from there. See, coming to the STEM kind of, engineering kind of fields, it's really not easy to see women out there, but we need a lot of women in that sector because energy, women are the maximum consumers of this energy, and we are the biggest storehouses of the energy. We store everything. We store money, we store food, we do everything possible to store. So why cannot be that we are on the other side of the decision making in the storage industry? And that is what was important for me. I have always been somehow, the rebel kind, the bold kind who wants to be out of the league. So I have always been one of those. And this was also the reason that I am in one of the very, very male dominated niche segment where energy storage, I don't think there is a woman entrepreneur other than one or two, a few names to name rather. So I think focus, perseverance, ethics, being consistently consistent, learning to say no sometimes to some things, and absolutely a no compromise attitude is something which will make you stay in any business that you want to be, or anything rather than that you're doing, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're an entrepreneur. I think both these are the common points that you need to focus on all the times. And to me, inspiration came from my own family, my mom. And I'd say that and I think one day you all will tell your stories of how you have overcome what you're feeling now and where you want to go. And this would be an inspirational survival guide for the next ones to see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rashi. And being a person myself from the energy sector, I'm looking forward to connecting with you further on this particular field. So, with that, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Lara Khalif. She is a multi award winning woman in women's development and feminine leadership. She is a specialist in this field with over 20 years of international experience managing large team operations in the private, corporate, and public sectors. Her women's empowerment conscious boutique firm focuses on coaching, training, and developing women's leadership both personally and professionally at the level of mind, body, and spirit. Amongst other accomplishments, Ms. Lara is the NED for Care Home in Spain, and she's also delivered a TEDx talk and has spoken on various international stages. It is great to have you with us today, Ms. Lara. And my first question for you is, how do you balance work and life responsibilities? So over to you, Ms. Lara.
Thank you, thank you. I always love when we do these introductions. Can we repeat it? Did I do all that? So that was the thought. How can we balance? And as I was thinking about this question, do we need to balance first? Where is that notion of having the balance is coming from? Because the thought is coming to my mind is that, am I putting unnecessary pressure on myself in the name of women's empowerment? And I'm talking not because I haven't given it a lot of thought. It's completely the opposite. This is what I dedicate my life towards, supporting women and when it comes to women's empowerment and developing the feminine leadership in them. So when I'm thinking about women's leadership, what I'm also thinking about feminine leadership, which is very different, right? Which, maybe we could dive into it a little bit later. Now, how can I bring the balance? The first thing, I'm going to drop the notion that I'm a superwoman. I'm going to drop that notion that I'm a superwoman. I mean, according to who, right? According to who? Now, I could give you so many strategies right now. Do this and this and this and this. And I'm sure that some of our ladies would love that. And of course, we're going to give them what they love. So I'm going to give you some of that too. But I also would like us to think about what does balance mean? Is it true that we need balance? How can I change the word balance with something more empowering? Hello? Yeah, okay. So how can I change the word's balance with something that is more empowering for me, that suits my lifestyle? I mean, I remember many times when I was in the corporate world where I had to work until midnight because there was a project going on, or because it has to be some work going on. Or even now I have people and clients all over the world. Where is the balance when I need to work until 10 p.m. doing a coaching session, right? There is no balance in there. But then I am doing it because I love doing it. Now, what's happening as well with this concept of balance is that I am looking for the balance externally, but I don't realize that I am heavily imbalanced emotionally internally. Right? Energetically speaking, maybe I am doing the boundaries, maybe I know how to say no and everything else, but internally I am so imbalanced energetically, right? So this is what I would do. I would look at, do I actually really need a balance? Am I playing the superwoman role because this is what women are supposed to be doing nowadays in the name of women's empowerment? Now, there are some strategies that I could share with you. The first one is about how present are we? How present are we? When I'm having a conversation, what I know is that giving somebody my time and giving them my presence are two different things, very different, right? I could give you my time, but not necessarily my presence. How present am I when I am with my family, when I am with my partner, when I am with my kids, when I am with my business, right? How present am I? To bring that balance, I need to be fully present in what I'm doing. So then there is no that energetic imbalance that we were talking about earlier on. Something else that I would do, it's about setting boundaries, right? Boundaries from an emotional perspective, material perspective, time perspective, mental perspective, physical perspective. There's so many boundaries that I could create. Now, boundaries could work as long as I have done the inner work, right? Because so many times, the reason that there are lack of boundaries is because there is a trauma that is driving it, that is not helping me and enabling me to set those boundaries. Asking for help. The feminine is very much about receiving. How much are we asking for help, right? Saying no, it's another one of how to bring that balance. And communication is super important. And equally, I'm going to be a master at managing my tasks, a master of that. And most importantly as well, I'm going to drop the notion of perfection. And again, as I've mentioned, dropping the notion of me being a superwoman. That's it. I could talk. I keep talking now if you want.
Could you please unmute yourself? We cannot hear.
Can you hear me now? So did you hear anything that I said?
Yes, we did
Yes.
hear everything of that energy. We love you. Thank you so much.
Yes, right. Mishma, I think Mishma
Mishma, we
has lost
cannot
the
hear you.
connection.
Hello? Hello?
No, not audible now.
Yes,
As of
now Mishma is
Hello?
audible. Right.
Yes?
Yes, Mishma.
Aparna ji, you're also
Okay.
mute here.
Okay. So with that, I would like to introduce Dr. Reema Ghosh Chowdhury. She's a EVP and CHRO, and she leads Datamatics, which is HR functions globally, with operations in US, India, Middle East, Europe, and the Philippines. She's a seasoned HR leader and practitioner with over 2 decades of experience in corporate and academia. Dr. Reema has been instrumental in building technology and leadership capabilities in reputed global enterprises like IBM, Sony Pictures Networks India, and Quinox. In her previous roles, she has championed change management in her technology and culture space to bring in the right blend of high-tech and high-touch culture. Dr. Reema has been an international mentor for Middlesex University London and is also a trainer by Sony Pictures Entertainment UK Energy Project. She has received multiple HR Excellence Awards, including the 50 Most Influential HR Tech Leaders 2015 at the World HRD Congress. So it is great to have you with us today, Dr. Reema. And with that, I have a similar question to you. How do you balance work and life responsibilities? So over to you, Dr. Reema.
Mishma, I think Dr. Reema has connection issues.
Okay.
Something.
Okay, so while she joins in, and since we've already set the flow and we've understood the background of the panelists, let's dive into the discussion. The participants, you can post your questions under the questions tab, and we will take it at the end of the session, of course, if time permits. So on the time, I request the speakers to limit the answers within 2 minutes or lesser, so that we are able to cover enough topic for today. So with that, my first question is for Ms. Esther. Please take us through your journey of how you reached where you are currently by overcoming the gender impediments. Over to you, Ms. Esther.
Thank you very much once again for giving me the floor. Okay, like I did mention earlier on, where I come from, the tribe I come from, women are revered, and whatever we do, women empowerment, it's always the woman making the law. So gender impediment, actually, it was not in my list, to be honest. Like I said, I come from where a society at a young age, women are empowered and raised to have self-esteem. The outside world have the image of African woman being seen as nothing else than the property of a husband or an object. That is not the real truth of where I come from, let's say West Africa. Well, I boldly say that I'm very respected and revered wherever I am, most because of my gender in Ghana, I would say. I've heard stories about other women in Francophone countries who are subject to serving the male clan and are left out of their father's will. But in Ghana, it's not the same way for me. I had the support of my father, of my brother, of my friends male. They always encourage me to go higher. When I was a quality manager for Swissport Ghana, which is a predominantly a male industry because of we were operating in the aviation sector, each of my suggestions, opinion, and recommendations was taken into consideration, despite the fact that other countries see women somehow less than the men. My gender was not an issue at all and continue not to be an issue. I, however, have to say that when I traveled outside Ghana, went for a conference in Europe, most of the men were very reluctant to approach me, to talk to me, because I was introduced as the CEO of a company, and they are not really used to that. In Ghana, for instance, we have 67% of all companies being held by women. It tells you how the woman empowerment and how great or respected women are in Ghana. The only challenge I'm having currently, and it's nothing to do with my gender, and I think it's something across the world, is the level of corruption and other attitudinal behavior created by authorities, and that is what is making creating barriers, like I would say. But I think corruption has no color and has no gender. So in my part, to be honest, gender impairment did not occur in my evolution or becoming a CEO or where I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Esther. With that, Dr. Rima, are you here? Okay, I think she's still lost her connection. So with that, I would like to pose the next question to Dr. Ruby. So how can women leadership be sustained during disruptive times?
Should I continue or should I?
Yes, please
Uh,
go ahead, Dr. Ruby. We'll connect with Dr. Rima later. Yes.
All right. Well, women have always been the prime support system in every situation, even though they are doing multitasking, even though they are doing tons of things at the same time. They are always thought of as the weaker sex. But during the recent time of COVID-19, let's take the situation now, we have had a mixed reaction. We can easily see that women have emerged strong winners. There are success stories about how our Kerala's rock star health minister, or let's say another name, coronavirus slayer, Shailaja teacher, has saved millions of lives from her state herself by showing that yes, if women have the perseverance, if women decide that something needs to be done, they don't wait for an opportunity. They just get set, go. They are there. They take the plunge without knowing whether they can swim across or not, whether they are swimmers or not, but they are just into it. They go for it, and they make sure that they're able to save, or they're able to deal with the people with those passion, with that compassion, that they are there with them. They just take the action. They don't wait for other people to say, write, and go about it. They just do it. The recent time, COVID-19 has shown us so many things when the whole world was going through a emotional roller coaster of fear, rejection. I don't accept it. It can't happen with me. I am safe. Some people were like in their own bubble. But then people had to accept that it is happening. It's the women leaders who emerged strong and clear and victorious. Let's say leaders from Denmark, Finland, Norway, and New Zealand. They held press conferences ensuring their people, just like as a mother, like, women have that motherly feeling that, are you okay? Are you fine? I'm there for you. So, which I think is missing in the male counterparts. Let's say in our male counterparts, they're also there. They also show the concern. But what a woman does as a mom, because she's like a mother nature, they came to the rescue, even asking simple questions like, can I attend the birthday party? People were asking questions like this. So they were answering the questions of each and every person with the same compassion as they would be doing something which is like finance or something more of higher importance. They gave importance to everything. Let's take example of Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel. When she heard the conference on COVID, she was making sure that people understand the repercussions, what is going on, what is happening, and people had questions, but they were addressing them. They were educating the masses, which I think again is a very motherly thing, which women leaders come forward to, and especially when it's pandemic, or especially when it's something disruptive, when people are undergoing through a lot of things. We need someone with more compassion, to take over, to come to the rescue. Even Miss Arden, she went, I would say, a step ahead with her team of ministers. She actually did walk the talk, not just talking like some of the ministers or politicians they do. She actually took the plunge, and she took a 20% pay cut from the 6 month salary to support the people who were economically affected, who had to go through rundown because of COVID disruption. So there are some recent facts. These are just certain recent facts which I wanted to share to show how women leadership or female leadership stands out. It is something that has been proven. It has something that is happening right now. We are all witnessing it, and we can see it. So the need of the hour, or I would say the call of the hour, is practicing emotional intelligence and resilience. Women are very strong, even though they are known as a weaker sex, but they have proven they are not weaker. They are more resilient. They can take any situation. If they can take care of the childbirth, which is the most painful and most struggle thing, which I think all the ladies would agree, they can take care of anything. So majority of the success women leaders have come forward. They are coming over and taking over by healthy collaborations, sustainable networks, transparent communications. And that's, I think, the need of the hour, to have more collaborations where everyone can come forward and lead together. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ruby. Yes, I see Dr. Hina has raised a hand. So, yes, over to you, Dr. Hina. Please, can you unmute yourself, Dr. Hina?
Can you hear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Since we are talking about how can women leadership be sustained during disruption, let me tell you, disruptions come for a woman because she is a woman. She's a mother, she's a wife, she is a family creator. So disruption doesn't come only in the corporate sector or in the profession. Disruption comes when I'm pregnant. Disruption comes when I'm not well. Disruption comes when my husband is not well. Disruption comes when my child in my lap is not well. So disruptions are many, but that doesn't stop anybody's characteristic to become a leader. So, and that is where women leaders, whoever has come at the political level, at the economical level, or at the professional level, have, as my all other fellow speakers have said, they come out very strong. And let me tell you, we don't have to be afraid. And let me tell you, women, that we don't have to stop being mother and wife to become the leader in the profession. And that is where the balance also we see. But we really have to see that these problems are going to be there. Today, my father is 98 years old. I'm looking after him, and my daughter's daughter is 2 years old. I'm looking after both of them and sitting at this conference, keeping the balance and making sure that no disturbances is bothering me. Thank you so much.
Very well said, Dr. Hina. I think we women have to go through the Agni Pariksha all the time. It's always there. You have to go through the Agni Pariksha. Prove yourself. Are you really capable of it? And that's the reason, whenever it's anything disruptive, you said it, whether it's childbirth, whether it's someone sick in the family, someone not feeling well, we have to react. We have to accept. It's not just expectation. We need to take the plunge. And that's what we are going through all the time. And that's why women are emerging victorious in every field. And we are very proud of it.
It is not easy. It is not easy, but we have to get going.
Exactly. Very true. Very true. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy, but we have to take the plunge and move on.
We are the God's very special creation. Okay, so we will get the larger share.
Definitely. Definitely, Dr. Rashi. I agree with you. And right now, we are seeing, because of this pandemic, it has highlighted it very well in the right direction and in the right order. Right now, only we are talking so much about women empowerment, which was there, which has always been there, but now the bar has gone higher.
In the name of women empowerment in this corona
Hello.
timings, all male members in India have started helping women at home, which was not there earlier.
I think that's the bright side of COVID. You know, it is challenging, it's a darker tunnel, but the brighter side is that all these healthy collaborations, healthy networks, and men have started understanding what it is. You know, when we are managing everything, sitting in the house, taking care of the family, working from home, you know, they are also understanding, and thankfully they're supporting as well now.
Lots of men talent have come down into picture, wherein men are, explaining how good they're in washing utensils, cleaning the home and everything. So yes, thank you. It's COVID is maybe a blessing in disguise.
Very well said, Nikita. Very true.
I think Mishma is facing some
Mishma has,
technical.
yes,
Yeah,
I think Dr. Rema is here. Dr. Rema,
yeah.
yes, Mishma has lost a connection, I think.
And Dr. Rima as well
Hello?
is, I think she's also.
Yes, Mishma, we can
Yeah.
hear you. Dr. Rema is here. Mishma, can you hear me?
I don't think so. I think Parna ji, you should go ahead. Probably you can do the moderating, and whenever someone joins in, you can.
Right, I think Dr. Rema also is facing some issues with the connection.
Okay, hopefully y'all can hear.
Yes,
Okay, yeah,
Mishma.
sorry for that. Well, that's how far we can go with technology. So, with that, my next question is for Miss Lara. What are the most critical?
So again, because of COVID, we are all into this digital platform of meeting up people and doing conferences online. So these are the hindrances coming on the way.
Yes. So, my question is for Miss Lara. What are the most critical changes that we must make to face the future effectively?
Do you know who was coming to my mind? Those people who 5 years ago did their 5 years plan, right? You know, they were coming to my mind. I mean, my immediate reaction to this question is like, I haven't got a clue, right? Especially because of everything that has happened. But of course, you know, there are things that we could do. And it is my absolute knowing that the biggest commodity that we could invest in is ourselves, right? Is ourselves. I mean, I have a thought that an unhealed woman is a disempowered woman, and an unhealed woman leader is a disempowered woman leader. So, what would be a wonderful opportunity, in fact, to work on that at a deep level, right? Because at least in the Western world, a lot has been said about we need gender equality, we need gender equality. It is my also believe that what we need is not actually gender equality. What we need is energy equality, and that is the energy of the feminine. That is really, really what is needed right now. So how can I make those critical changes? Work on myself. I'm going to understand what does actually leadership means. How can I reconnect to the feminine? How can I reconnect to the feminine? That it is my opinion that is so much misunderstood and forgotten by both men and women. So let me reconnect to the feminine energy so I can bring that balance that so desperately is needed, right? So healing, work on yourself, learn skills or not learn skills, working on your presence, as we've mentioned earlier on. That is what I could only foresee that could work, because I haven't got a clue how otherwise we can. And by the way, it's very interesting because the nature of the question itself is very masculine. The energy of the question is very masculine, right? So what I would like to invite everyone who's watching us today, that if you haven't considered the feminine, that it's time to consider it. You know, what does feminine mean? How can I connect to my feminine? What aspects of the feminine I have neglected? And by the way, it has nothing to do with high heels and makeup and red lipsticks. Although, you know, I'm wearing my heels today and I'm wearing my red lipstick, has nothing to do with that. So these are the things that, from my perspective, I feel that we could focus on.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lara. And the next question is on STEM. So, and I would like to address this to Dr. Hina. So, according to UNESCO Institute of Statistics data, less than 30% of the world's researchers are women. So, what do you think are the qualitative factors that deter women from pursuing careers in STEM? So, over to you, Dr. Hina. Please, can you unmute yourself, Dr. Hina?
I'm always in a hurry to speak, so I forget to unmute. It's very, very unfortunate when we talk about our education, our school education, our university education. Women have proved to be no less than men. In India, when you see the board results, the school results, the top rankers are all women than men. But when it comes to science, technology, engineering, and maths, when it comes to the profession of it in the field of STEM, there are many, many problems. And there are many factors which are pursuing women to stop pursuing women the career in their STEM. Like I would like to note down that one is negative traditional belief that women are inferior to men are contributing to women's lack of enthusiasm for education in STEM. Families are not allowing them. Second is majority of girls prefer to study arts or soft sciences. As we just discussed that in Betri area, there are no women. So these are the technology where women themselves are not interested. Lack of motivation from parents, one of the factors in the underrepresentation of women in engineering. When women are interested to go for engineering, parents are not encouraging them. Even though they encourage them, they get the degree and then they make them marry and then they don't really pursue the career. Uh, Here again, another factor which is very important is fear of hard subjects like mathematics, physics, one of the factors in the underrepresentation of women in engineering. If you ask women, they say, I want to read art, I want to go for political science, I want to become a doctor, but when it comes to the technical field, they shy away. Working conditions in STEM are more suitable for men because it has been designed and it has been implemented by men. Now we really need many women entrepreneurs to develop the STEM which is more women friendly. A gender difference that is greater at higher level of an income than at lower level of income. Therefore, women are not getting into it. I remember when I was addressing the women in engineering college and I was asking them to take women as their employees. They said, no, 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 no. Women get pregnant and then they go away and then this and that. So the men part of the men part of society is still not accepting women in STEM and therefore women are not getting into it. Men in the STEM industries have more opportunities than women and therefore we see women are not going ahead. Men is in STEM research have more opportunities than women, again whether it is research or whether it is industry. It is true that female are burdened to an organization due to their femininity, what we discussed just recently, and also because of the reproductive role. And I think that is the best role a woman can enjoy. But these are the hindrance thought about in STEM institution by men. So I would say that male dominated oriented attitude by the management in STEM is not allowing women to come to the top. And these are the reasons I would say that women are not seen in the pursuit of career in STEM. Last but not the least, still women themselves, it is not only men, it is women themselves see themselves as a stereotyping female role, only good looking, sitting at home, looking after the children, should not become dark, should not become old, and so many other things. So here I would like to say that we really have to encourage women to think intellectually and go ahead in the area of science, technology, engineering, and maths so they can become the leader in STEM career. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that. And we're still, Dr. Rima, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So before we lose you again, my question for you is, how does leadership differ geographically and culturally? For example, does childhood and the upbringing play a crucial role for women in leadership? Over to you, Dr. Rima.
Thank you, Bishma, and I'm very sorry for this unstable connection. It's not a very normal thing, especially with 12, 14 hours of work from home every day, which decided to happen today, but not an issue. I'm really super excited to be out here amongst all the lovely, accomplished women leaders. So, to your question, Dr. Mishma, yes, definitely the upbringing, the cultural context, all of that plays a huge role in how a professional shapes up in her career journey. Um, and of course, all of it is not really this culture is not really specific to a particular geography. The culture that you have at home, so all of that actually go a long way. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So, almost 25 years back, I started my career on engineering shop floor.
We seem to have lost her again. So, okay, I'll move to Dr. Rashi.
I
Okay,
was
she's the,
one out of, sorry, I'm back. Can I continue?
yes, yes, please go ahead.
So I was one out of perhaps 200 people on the shop floor. We were all manufacturing Dettol and Lysol, and I was a trainee production supervisor. This was Reckitt Benckiser that time. And being one amongst 200 men on the shop floor, that meant that I didn't have a buddy, nobody to have lunch with. Um, Awkward moments if I was feeling unwell and needed to take some rest. So all of that happened, and then people around me, all those workers, they would be like, what are you doing here on the top floor? There's a much better life waiting for you. Get married. You could be a queen in some family. Now, I had every reason to be offended, but it was a learning journey for me when I realized that all of these is coming from a patriarchal mindset, which is the result of a certain cultural aspect which prevails in the Indian society. So I realized that it's not about, uh, they don't mean anything negative. Maybe they're trying to be a bit paternalistic in nature because they think they're trying to do me a lot of good. But one thing that journey taught me that there are always going to be these cultural differences. But if you are very sure about what you want to do in life, there can be no stopping you. And where that stopping happens, there are so many times when women tend to delimit themselves, they tend to delimit their aspirations, which is so wrong. I just wish that we create some kind of a sisterhood where so that before giving up, we are able to give that assurance to all these women professionals that, hey, you're not alone. There are so many of us who have, fought with the odds, gone through this journey, and are here today. So I would like to highlight that yes, there are aspects of leadership which can differ, and it's a very universal subject. I don't necessarily tag it as a women leadership, but definitely there are some elements which women bring to leadership. There is that precious element of balance which some of our accomplished leaders on this forum have spoken about. So that balance perhaps comes a little easily to the women leaders. Adaptability, being able to be one with all around you, that perhaps comes a little easily. And of course, rest of the leadership evolves with time. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Dr. Rima. It was glad, it's glad that we finally got you,
Yeah.
and we are really running short of time. So I'll just take one question from the audience, and anyone can answer this question. The question is how to deal with inactive partners who always delay making decisions. It has been a very big task for this particular person. Unfortunately, the name isn't there. So, yes, how to deal with inactive partners who always delay making decisions. We can have anyone who can answer that. Yes, Dr. Rashi.
I'm taking up this question, okay, and I'm going to give you a very different perspective of this question. You would say that the partner is delaying in making a decision. So now there are two ways of handling it. First, one, find out that why does the person always delay taking the decisions. I mean, what is it that you are presenting to your partner that does not facilitate to take him or her the decision immediately and instantly? So what you need to do is change the way you present things to. Give him a more cooked plate so that he can directly just eat. That is something more important. Give him that relevant information which will help him or her to take the relevant decision that is required at that point of time. Second important aspect is that you have to give a timeline when you are asking for a decision. You have to be very politely informing the other person that, okay, I have just this much time, this is the emergency, or these are the consequences of not taking the decision in time. And when you do this, I'm sure that the other person will understand the importance of taking the decisions timely, and they will be more informed and more apt decisions. I hope.
I hope so too, but yeah, I think it was answered from my end. So, yeah, thank you, Dr. Rashi. And with that, I have to unfortunately conclude the panel discussion. So, I would like all of you to quickly give a one-line advice on what would you like to give our women out there who are trying to crackle those glass ceilings. So, just very short advice. Okay, we can start with Dr. Ruby. Dr. Ruby, you're on mute.
Okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
My advice to all women out there is just believe in yourself, because you know yourself the best. You are, the reflection of whatever you are doing. You can see on the other side of the mirror. So just keep going. Never give up. Never sit back. You can definitely do it. If you believe in yourself, you can definitely reinvent the awesome you every single day. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ruby. Dr. Hina?
Well, just one line that I would like to tell all these women that women may not, they themselves may not realize always that how poised for success they are in leadership. They have tremendous potential, so use that potential and make a change in your life, in family life, and in country's life. All the best.
Thank you. Miss Lara?
Yes, I'm going to share one of my favorite quotes by a lady called Lala Dia, and that is, she remembered who she was and the game changed.
That was very short and sweet. So, Dr. Rashi?
Just one, two words, no compromise. No.
Okay, that lasted the minute I pinned you and unpinned you. So, yes, Miss Esther?
We are creators of humanity. Don't let anyone disrespect you.
Great. And finally, Dr. Rima?
Okay, so a lot of it has been said before, but I would like to quote the book Women Who Ran with the Wolves. And this is Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who had mentioned that anyone who doesn't support your art, your life is not worth your time. So choose very carefully in life.
Thank you. Thank you so much to all the speakers. And I would like to conclude this panel discussion on women in leadership with this short snippet. Women may have gotten the vote 100 years ago, but we are still less than equal partners in the society. As Sheryl Sandberg rightly said, we need women at all levels, including the top, to be the change in the dynamics, reshape the conversation, to make sure women's voices are heard and heeded, not overlooked and ignored. Let it start from you, all of you who are part of this summit. Find that voice within you and make sure it is heard in the boardroom, in the corridors, in the courtrooms, and every path you tread. Once again, on behalf of CIMSME and GCPIT, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Reema Ghosh Chowdhury, Dr. Ruby Bakshi, Dr. Hina Shah, Dr. Rashi Gupta, Ms. Esther Asante, and Ms. Lara Khalif for joining us today in this powerful panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you. It
much.
was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye,
And
everybody.
audience,
We'll keep
thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Audience, please stay with us. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll come back with another power packed panel discussion on business inclusiveness and sustainability. So do stay with us and we'll break for 2 minutes. Thank you.